What is health anthropology? But first of all, what is anthropology? Well, the word anthropology derives from the Greek word anthropos, meaning man, and logos, meaning study, aka anthropology is the study of humanity and culture. Anthropologists seek to describe, analyze, and interpret the similarities, differences, and interactions between cultures. Ethnography. Ethnography is defined as a qualitative research method that uses observation and interaction with research participants in their environment. It relies on interviews, documentation, and field research. Participant observation. This is the observation and participation in groups or community activities in their setting. This requires the development of openness and trust. So what is culture? Culture is not the same as nature, since it is learned and embodied through the use of symbols, language, and other representations like manufactured objects. Culture is also adaptive, ever-changing, though individuals living in their culture might not be able to notice the change. Sir Edward Burnett Tyler stated that culture encompasses the beliefs, knowledge, morals, customs, arts, and laws, as well as any other habits attained by individual members of a specific society. Not all languages make the distinction between knowledge and belief. Beliefs are important since they allow for healing, as evidenced by the placebo effect. Anthropologists privilege meaning over truth, since some cultures can't distinguish between knowledge and beliefs. They value empathy to convey knowledge of health in language and concepts that they can understand. What is ethnocentrism? This is where individuals judge another's culture by the values of their own culture. You need to be aware of your own biases, basically. Cultural relativism is the polar opposite of ethnocentrism, because cultural relativism is the perspective that practices or beliefs in one culture should not be judged by the standards of another culture. Ruth Benedict in 1934 stated that morality differs in every society and is a convenient term for socially approved habits. To understand different cultures, anthropologists use the words Emic and Etic. Emic describes a perspective from within the culture, while Etic describes a perspective from outside the culture. Steps of methodological relativism include avoiding ethnocentrism as much as possible, analyzing the groups within their own context, history, and cultural standards, and maintaining a degree of neutrality. Okay, so furthermore, I'll discuss what is health. There are many different definitions of health. There is the biomedical definition of health, which is the absence of disease. Disease is caused by pathogens like viruses, bacteria, etc., etc. The World Health Organization defines health as not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, but complete physical, mental, and social well-being. There are also political economic definitions of health, which define the word as access to and control over the basic material needs and non-material services that sustain and promote higher quality of life. This definition is centered on resource access. Determinants of health can include things like the human body, history, and culture, and these all have a complex interaction which affects beliefs, perceptions, and behavior about health. Normalcy. What is considered normal is shaped by the culture, to which Fadiman in 1997 stated that it was just a view and not necessarily reflecting reality itself. Other models of health can include, for example, the Azande of Sudan, who believed that sickness was due to witchcraft and required oracles to diagnose these sicknesses, as in through witch doctors. And there's also Chinese traditional medicine, which maintains the belief that disease was due to the imbalance of coolness, heat, and cosmic forces. So explaining why. Biomedicine can explain how medicine comes about and spread, but it is not good at explaining why someone gets sick compared to others. As in, for example, questions like why me and why now? Why not someone else getting sick? In addition, disease is defined as abnormalities in function and structure of body systems and organs. Biomedicine focuses on locating the disease. Illness. This is defined as the experience of sickness, an unwanted condition, aka these are the symptoms. Anthropologists consider looking at illnesses situated not only in individual persons, but also on the social environment. Some diseases don't have illnesses. Medicalisation. This is defined as the social process where a person with a medical problem is treated and placed under the authority of healthcare professionals. This too has a social dimension, since medical authority has expanded and new categories have been created, such as ADHD for example, which are quite different to local categories in non-Western cultures. Theories of sexuality. These need to consider the social constructions, the development of cultural or historical subjective meanings of perspectives and concepts, and according to Vance in 1990, he stated that the culture provides many different schemas, labels, and categories in describing emotional and sexual experiences. Social relations. For example, HIV can be seen as a social disease, since it changes the way people form relationships and it shapes behavior. Vulnerability factors. These have structural reasons and can include exploitation, the social hierarchy, marginalization, modernization, rapid social change, migration, lack of access to resources, identity, recognition or risks, and power and gender issues. And all of these could affect access to treatment or even just getting diagnosed with the disease in the first place. So in summary, we looked at what is health anthropology. We looked at the etymology of the origin of the word anthropology, who are anthropologists, what is ethnography. We looked at participant observations, what is culture, ethnocentrism, cultural relativism, Emic and Etic perspectives, methodological relativism, what is health, determinants of health, normalcy. We also looked at explaining why diseases come about as opposed to how we define what is a disease, what are illnesses, medicalisation, theories of sexuality, social relations, and finally, vulnerability factors. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.